Hi, I'm Preston Williams, and welcome to another edition of Jazz Talk. Today on our show, we are joined by one of the greatest vocalists in jazz today. This young lady has been on the scene for over 25 years and has worked with many greats from Paul Carr to Lewis Nash, Lenny Robinson, and Terrell Stafford, to name a few. Washington, D.C. has called her the finest jazz vocalist ever. And you know what? I concur. Please welcome to Jazz Talk, Miss Sharon Clark. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you
So
for
good to
having
have you on. So good to have you on. Well, as I said, just before we started, I've been after you for a while to get you on Jazz Talk. You're one of my favorite singers, and this is just wonderful. I'm beside myself. Hey, I wanted to start out and ask you about your humble beginnings and your background. I understand that you're originally from Alexandria, Virginia, and you were born in Fort Belvoir.
What Belvoir, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. And I'm interested to know about your humble beginnings and your background. You come from a big family, I believe, seven of you guys, and you have a twin sister. And tell me a little bit about what life was like in Alexandria back then, and how you got into jazz, because I know that your father was a pianist and saxophonist.
Correct.
Yeah.
It was quite, jazz is always something that was very normal around our house, especially in the car.
Mhm.
I grew up during the 60s and everything, and so we really wanted to hear what we wanted to hear, the old Motown and Curtis Mayfield and Smokey Robinson and things like that. We wanted to listen to the radio in the house, and we had the domain in the house. But once we got into that car, it was another whole ball of wax. My father would take that, and we can see him getting in the car. He'd take that knob, and he'd had it all the way down to the left, where we knew that those were jazz stations down there, and we could forget it. But the same experience that we had shaped me in many ways. Is, everything, you can hear stuff and your mind will tuck it away. I mean, I think it's proven that once you see something, you never not see it or hear it again. You just can't remember. And these things and memories come bubbling up every time I get on stage now, because I was like, oh yeah, I remember this song. I remember my father sitting at that stoplight with his eyes closed, just so happy to get away from the music that we were listening to in the house and that he didn't have any control over. But
Yeah.
yeah, we were church going, God loving people. Uh, we went to Woodlawn United Methodist Church, and if you were a kid in the Clark household, you joined the choir whether you wanted to or not. Uh, my mom was insisting she was going to get some time on Saturday afternoons while we had
Yeah.
choir, and so she had some time to herself. But they discovered that that I could sing, and I loved singing, and so that's how I got started singing at 7 years old.
Wow.
Six, 6 or 7, yeah.
Wow. So would you say, well, I guess, singing gospel at an early age, but I guess you guys were exposed to so much music from your parents, but would you say as you started singing more, did you start to gravitate a little bit toward the jazz? Was your father, and I guess one of your teachers, really big on influencing you to go that direction?
Correct. Mr. Murray, when I was in high school, I thought I was going to go to school for classical music because I love
Hmm.
classical. And of course, I wanted to be the next Leon T. Price,
Uh-huh.
so sing and sell. And so he encouraged me, Mr. Murray encouraged me. He said, you have a beautiful voice, whatever you sing. He said, but I just don't hear classical all the way. He said, you have a jazz voice. And maybe it was influenced by the fact that he loved jazz so much.
Yeah.
And in order for me to get that medallion at the fourth year, which is my senior year, I had to sing Little Girl Blue. And so I sang Little Girl Blue to get, he said, if you don't sing Little Girl Blue, you're not going to get that medal. And I was like, oh, okay. I wanted that medal. I worked hard for 4 years. I wasn't going to get that medal. And so at the senior concert, I sang Little Girl Blue, and something, I don't know, maybe felt like a blanket just came up around my shoulders.
Mhm.
So I flew at home. My father had passed when I was in the ninth grade. So singing that song and knowing how much he loved jazz, something just enveloped me that day on stage and at the, 18 years old. And I changed my direction to go into James Madison University to study classical, to Berklee College of Music to study jazz.
Wow, that's incredible. Now, I wanted to ask you about you and your sister because you have a twin sister. Tell me about this bottle caps and doing this promotional work for Coca-Cola. That's incredible.
Yeah, we did. Coca-Cola. They had auditions to start uh, uh, getting high school students to do like become a bottle cap. And so
Hmm.
singers came from my old school, which was Fort Hunt. And after they picked the singers, which was me and my twin sister and two other girls, they wanted to find a band, and so we had to pick the band.
Hmm.
A band from West Springfield High School, and we became the Bottle Caps. And
Hmm.
time, Mr. Pibb was like the answer to Dr. Pepper, and so we had to
Yeah.
wear Pibb shirts and white pants and go from high school, and we even got to go to King's Dominion and perform there.
Now, I want to ask you about that. That was what your first real professional gig, or one
Yes,
of them?
yeah, one of them. I remember in the seventh grade doing a garden party for a friend of mine. Me and we used to sing together in intermediate school, and we did a garden party together for her mother, and we got
Hmm.
$5 a piece, and we were like, "Wee, $5." So, and we sang some Stevie Wonder, "You Are the Sunshine of My Life," and
Yeah.
so we had pretty good music that we chose from.
Yeah. And tell me, how did you come to meet Chris Grasso and hook up with him? Because you guys have like a beautiful marriage together with him being, musical director and stuff that he writes. But you guys work very well together. You guys have been together now for what, over 20 years. How'd you guys meet, Sharon?
We met, I think, I can't even remember where we met. It might have been a jam session somewhere,
Mhm.
or I can't remember. I mean, I just don't remember where we met, but I know when we met, it was an immediate bond.
Mhm.
And we've been together, like my daughter is 18, so we knew maybe closer to 22 or 23 years now.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah. You guys work very well together. Now, you did your first, I guess, your debut recording in what, 97, finally?
Finally,
Yeah, I
yes.
was checking that out, and I'm telling you, that is an amazing recording for a debut. And there were two songs that I listened to, and I played them over and over and over again. And I actually was listening today. One is about, let me see, what was that one called? Oh, Girl Talk. And the other
Girl,
one is Do You Want to Know a Secret? Those
oh
are
yeah,
probably my two favorite.
oh
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, yeah. I was listening to that over and over, and even your remake, how you did uh, "End of a Love Affair," because the only person I think I heard ever do that was Shaka Khan. But I said, man, Sharon's version is really nice and it was up tempo too. I'm like, wow, I've never heard anyone sing it like that before, but it was
Right.
really, really nice for a debut recording. That was very, very powerful. And
Oh,
you've played like all over. I mean, Blues Alley, National
mhm,
Press Club, Twins. I mean, you've been everywhere, one step down.
yeah.
And I was just reading some old reviews, going back, and it's just everywhere you go. And it's not just here. I mean, internationally, Sweden, Europe, everywhere. You have just a huge following, like almost like a cult following. Now you got a pretty big gig coming up the end of the year. I think in France, don't you? Something like that, Paris in
Yeah,
December.
December 24th and 25th, I'll be at Sunset in Paris.
Yeah.
And on the 24th, it'll be a tribute to the music of Nat King Cole. And on the
Ooh.
25th, it'll be Sarah Vaughan. So,
Wow, that's that. I need to get book my ticket so I can be there. I got to see
yeah,
that.
gosh. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just, I mean, I love Europe, and I
Hmm.
especially love Europe at Christmas time. I mean, there's not one corner in Copenhagen that is not decorated.
Yeah.
And start this in November. I mean, it's just, they call it Christmas Town down in the town square. And the emotions and the spirit is so high. Everybody's having such a good time. Nobody's angry. You don't have to
Hmm.
worry about a police come flying out of nowhere and, messing you up or messing somebody you know up. I mean, it's just another whole vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Sharon, have you guys ever performed in Japan before?
Not Japan, but I have been to Taiwan.
Okay, because
And
Japanese people, they love jazz, probably more than
yeah,
anyone. They are big jazz fanatics, there.
yeah. I mean, all in the Far East.
Yeah.
In Taiwan, I did the Taiwan Jazz Festival about
Hmm.
3 years, and this is the largest jazz festival in Asia, and
Mm.
50,000 people showed up. I mean, 50,000.
Wow.
I
That's
mean,
incredible.
it was incredible. I said, how come we don't have stuff like this in the U.S.?
I know.
50,000.
I
And
know.
then I was in Thailand for 4 months with the Mandarin Oriental there performing every night. I mean, wasn't an empty seat any night. Now, on my bucket list is to get to South Korea and to Japan.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be great. Like I said, must be fantastic just traveling internationally and performing like that. But yeah, when I was just reading some reviews, I mean, the people love you over there. It's like you have a cult following, just as
Yeah.
big as in the United States. Now, I wanted to ask you about some of your influences. I know Johnny Hartman. I know Sarah Vaughan, and you've actually been compared to her, just your voice, because you do so many things with that incredible voice of yours. But what was it about Sarah's style, Sharon, that really, got you? Because, like I said, there's so many great singers out there, but she was very important in your, I guess, your background, your development.
Right. And I think it's because she has almost an operatic type of sound to her voice. And,
Hmm.
I loved opera. I mean, if I go to the opera, if I can get back to the opera, that would be so much,
Oh yeah,
and then I know that we're over COVID.
yeah.
And I've always loved opera and opera singers. My teacher, Leslie Humphrey, she was with the Metropolitan Opera for
Hmm.
years. I was a freshman in high school and she was a senior. And right after her senior year, she got picked up in New York by the Metropolitan Opera. And
Hmm.
that took my voice and condition to these days because, over COVID, it's easy to just, it's just easy to just get lazy. I mean, there's
Yeah,
nothing to, and so I had to start studying again. And, because if you don't use it, you lose it. And
yeah,
just sitting around day in, day out, I tried to sing a little bit every day, but I needed a little bit of focus. Let me focus on this. Let me focus on that. And she was there to help me with that. But I
mm,
think that Sarah Vaughan speaks so much. I mean, her embellishment. And as when she was younger, she had that, soprano, high lilting voice that was just beautiful. And then in her later years, she dropped a few, notes, but it was still just as luscious.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
she just, and she doesn't get enough play as far as that scat singing is concerned too. Because
Right.
Ella be the queen of that, but Sarah can keep up too.
Yes, she can. And tell me about
Yeah.
Johnny Hartman. He's also an influence.
Yes, Johnny Hartman. Male singers. If you really, there's two people that I say you need to listen to. That's Johnny Hartman and Joe Williams.
Mm,
These guys know how to put a song across. I love Frank Sinatra too. His phrasing was amazing. But when you talk about Johnny Hartman and Joe Williams, you're getting the essence of what a man should sound like. Arthur Price off too.
hmm,
And
hmm.
so I would definitely, I always tell any male student that I have, check them out. Maybe you can, glean something from them, especially Joe Williams. I mean, just
Yeah,
the blues. Oh my God.
yeah, yeah. He was something else, something special for sure. And tell me about another Washingtonian who's very, very important to you, Shirley Horn. And you
Oh
did
yeah.
a tribute to her, "Do It Again,"
Yeah.
which was fantastic. I think you did that in 2008 or seven or something like that. But
2000.
that was great. What was that? Just your way of paying homage to her? Just she's a big influence on you because that was a incredible recording, one of your best in my
Well,
book. Yeah.
thank you. It was, with that one with Shirley, because Shirley does those ballads that are really slow and just that stuff is just right behind the
Hmm.
beat or right before the beat is just so slick. And her being a Washingtonian, of course, I had to do something. And I think a few years before she had passed. And I remember being a kid, going down to the one step to see her, Charlie's Georgetown, and just being in awe of her coolness Aunt Shirley, that's what we used to call
Yeah, yeah, she was something special. And I wanted to ask you about something. Of course, last year, COVID really, it almost seemed like it kicked off in February, March of last year, and just
her.
and a lot of musicians, it really destroyed a lot of musicians and hurt them. I mean, there were no gigs, people weren't able to tour, travel, and it hurt a lot of people. How did you come through that? How did you make it through that? Because I know it was tough for you. A lot of other musicians that I talked to, it was very difficult for them. But how did you make it through that? And how did you stay focused, Sharon, through that?
Well, I'm telling you, at the beginning, it was very difficult.
Yeah.
Um, and thankfully, you know, as as a jazz worker, I mean, I get paid 1099, I put these W-2s and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
so, when I get paid, I was able to show a track record of tax paying and, that I was actually working. And then it was a 2-month stint to get unemployment in Maryland. It was
Yeah.
devastating. And for me to think about going into my retirement account, they wanted 40%. If you go into that retirement before it's time for you to retire, they take 40% of it. And I said, that's not again. I worked in
Mm.
corporate for 30 years. No way I'm going to take out, well, you can take a loan against it. And I'm like, if I take a loan, I'm supposed to pay it back if I don't have any gigs.
Right.
I mean, oh, and that was the most frustrating part. And I had friends from Westminster. I'm not going to put their names out there. One of my best friends, my best friends on earth, my daughter's godmother. I mean, she paid my rent. I mean, I had money coming in from everywhere because people knew that this is how Sharon legitimately makes her living.
Mm-hmm.
And the patrons or my friends, I'm not going to even call them patrons, but they patronize Westminster Church all the time. One lady in particular, every month for 8 months, she sent me a grant to
No,
help
that's
cover
that's wonderful. That's
big.
wonderful.
And then Westminster Church, I talked to Pastor Brian. I said, Pastor Brian, I'm hurting. And he sent money. I mean, it was just when you see every gig that you have one by one going away, and you're thinking about the bills, you're thinking about keeping a roof over your head, you're thinking about keeping food on the table.
Mm-hmm.
How am I going to pay that? How? And God heard my cry.
Amen to that.
See me and see about me.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure you're so excited, so happy just to be back, like other musicians, to be back on the road touring. And oh, by the way, I will be seeing you Saturday at the Carroll Arts Center.
Good.
I'll be there to support you, my dear. I am there. I'm there because there's a lot of shows going on this week. Frida Payne is in town. I'll be checking her out. But I says I got to see Sharon too. So, huh?
Are you going on Friday?
Yeah, Friday I'll be seeing her Friday nights, and she's a friend of mine. And then Saturday I'll be seeing you. So I'm looking forward to that. And
yeah, Friday too.
Yeah.
I'm going to be to see Frida, and Todd Barkin invited me to be his guest to come up there. And
which show are you going to be at? I'm going to be at the 10 o'clock show.
10 o'clock show. I'll probably be at the earlier show, but hopefully they'll let me stay.
And I'll probably see you as you're going out. Oh, that'll be great. That'll be great. Yeah, I'll definitely be there for that. But sounds good. I wanted to talk. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
Maybe I should just make the 10 o'clock show then.
Make the 10 o'clock show. Make the 10 o'clock show. You can sit at the table with me. I get to sit with Sharon Clark. Please, yes, that'll be great. Hey, tell me about working with Paul Carr. Now, I think was it last year, a couple of years ago? You were at the Mid-Atlantic Jazz Festival, the one in Rockville every year, and of course, they got that coming back in February. It's usually February of every year. But how'd you meet Paul Carr? And you guys have worked together before. What's it like working with Paul?
It was. I know it was over 30 years. It was 1,000. It was 1998. And I've seen Paul, across town, and
Mhm.
Tenor's favorite woodwind. Tenor's mine. And I'll show you a little picture. I got a little picture of John Coltrane. I'm getting ready to hang up.
Oh, wow. I love that. That's from Blue Train, 1957.
Yes.
Curtis Fuller, Lee Morgan. Oh, yeah. I know that recording.
Yeah, that's it. And
Yeah.
I met Paul, and Paul reminded me of John Coltrane. The stature, the look, the complexion, everything. And so I started listening to him, and he gave me a gig at Tacoma Station.
Mm.
He was at Tacoma Station for Tuesdays and Fridays for 3 years. And we really cut our teeth there. I mean, I did a lot, as far as cutting my teeth there in between Twins Lounge, which was over on Colorado Avenue then. And so during that time, in the 80s and 90s, I was working 5 nights a week.
Mm.
And there was a lot of clubs that you can actually do it at. Now, it's kind of sparse, but hopefully we'll make it back, or,
Yeah.
it'll come back like it was.
Yeah. Great, great. And of course, Lenny Robinson, your drummer. I just saw Lenny a couple weeks ago, as I mentioned to you, the Cookers were in town, and I was chatting with them. And I also filmed, this is a couple of months ago, Lenny, they did a concert at a friend of mine's house. It was TK Blue, Lenny,
Okay.
and I forgot the name of the bass player, and a tap dancer. And that was a really good show. I actually filmed it, and it was in Baltimore. Really, really good stuff. Yeah, Lenny, good guy. And also, you've worked with drummer Lewis Nash, who's one of my favorites. Lewis has played with everyone, and he's been on the scene for a while. Let me ask you a question. As far as like recordings, are you planning on putting out something new soon? Are you working on any projects?
Yes. As a matter of fact, Sharon Clark came out in 17, and so Paul and I, we were trying to get back into the studio this coming December, but we got to work the schedules out and everything. And I'm going to be here, somebody's going to be there. I think January would be better suited for me because I don't have anything on the books right now. February, of course, I'm going to be gone for most of that month, and so hopefully we'll be able to get everybody and round everybody up in January to do a tribute to the great Ethel Ennis.
Oh, man, that's going to be great. Well, listen, in this last segment, I want to do something, play a little game with you. I'm going to name some artists, some jazz artists. And Sharon, I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind. There's no right or wrong answer. We're going to first start off with Billie Holiday.
Ah, soulful.
Yeah. Next name, Ella Fitzgerald.
Oh my God. I cannot think of one word for her. Perfection. I mean, perfection.
Yeah. And another name we just talked about, Sarah Vaughan.
It's been said before, but divine.
Yeah. Next name, Carmen Gray.
Ah, that's my technician right there.
Yeah, technician. I like that. That. Yeah. Next name, Nancy Wilson.
Ooh, Miss Style herself.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. Miss Style. Next name, Dee Dee Bridgewater.
Yeah. She is an act. I mean, I went to see her show. She was hilarious. I mean, if she wasn't a jazz figure, she could probably be a comedian. I mean, this woman has sketches. I mean, it's fun. Okay.
Yeah. Next name, Diane Reeves.
Energetic. Energetic.
Okay. Next name, Carmen Lundy.
She is explorative. She's an explorer.
I'm loving your answers. I'm telling you, you're on point tonight. Next name, Cassandra Wilson.
Cassandra, and that's smoky to me.
Yeah. I like that. And next name, Liz Wright.
Is that the gospel singer?
Yeah, she's the jazz singer, young lady. She's like, late 30s, 40. You familiar with Liz?
No, I've heard the name, but I haven't really listened to any of the music.
Okay. And there's one more name I wanted to add to that, who's to me at the top of her game, and that's Sharon Clark. You're a part of that legacy, keeping the legacy going, and just fantastic. And I want to thank you so much for being on Jazz Talk today. You're a class act. I look forward to seeing you this week. And
Yeah.
love your music. And please keep doing what you're doing. And I will continue also to support you. Hang on, I'm about to close out the show.
All
You've
right.
heard it from the great Sharon Clark. And as the saying goes, if the music grooves and makes you move, it must be jazz. I'm Preston Williams with Jazz Talk signing off. Peace.